Way off in the distance, out there, as you can see, there's something yellow out there. You noticed, the citizens of Wildguard noticed that there was strange goings on. There were flashes and noise and thunder off in the distance. And the druid who was on the council was not present. He was missing. That would be me. Zoom, by the way, this is one thing we maybe didn't explain last time. Zoom has taken a leave of absence. He is not with us right now. He left the country of Wildguard for other areas and will be coming back later on. So he's not a part of this quest. A messenger happened by the area where all these noises were going on and was stunned unconscious, and he came back to the group here after being turned unconscious, and he delivered a bit of a story here, and that was you. And I'll recap what he told the people of Wildguard. He told the people of Wildguard that he was walking in the forest, that Sylver invited him into his forest abode for some tea, and he obliged. He noted that Sylver's behavior was a little bit unusual, and that he talked about a powerful new weapon called ball lightning. Said that he was developing it for the protection of Wildguard, or that he had come across this weapon for the protection of Wildguard, and was fiercely defending it, and that he had summoned an air elemental to protect him while he perfected this weapon. However, he was kind of acting weird. He wasn't his normal self. He was saying strange things. He was making kind of derogatory comments about the humans, and which was certainly out of character for Sylver. He was also talking about this weapon as being a mighty power which would protect Wildguard. And strangely enough, then he said something about it not being personal, and the next thing you know, he had hurled the ball lightning at him. And that sent him into an unconscious state. Something was obviously wrong. He reported to Wildguard that the druid had developed a mighty weapon that can cause great destruction. He doesn't seem afraid to use it, even on innocent victims. And yet, you have to wonder if Sylver doesn't have a point here. If this weapon should be protecting Wildguard and is maybe for the good of Wildguard. Maybe Sylver is doing something good. In any case, he came back to Wildguard and asked Wildguard what to do. Well, here's what happened. Wildguard started talking, or trying to open a dialogue with the druid, and that didn't seem to work. The druid seemed very agitated, and before you know it, he was killing people. And he was saying some really strange things. He was saying kind of divisive things that were splitting up humans and Kinto. They were splitting up the people who want to preserve this weapon versus the people who think this weapon should be destroyed. And the air elemental was sort of a weird presence in this whole thing. Well, long and short of it, it ultimately got to fighting. And in the course of fighting, it became quite obvious that the air elemental was pretty much indestructible. And if you go to the library of Amtgard, which is under the tent there, you will read the air elementals cannot be destroyed by melee weapons and cannot be destroyed by most magics. In fact, there is only one thing that can reliably destroy them. And it took some figuring out on the part of Wildguard, but they ultimately learned that the dragon Neria, who is not with us today, had collected something in her collection. That was this thing, a cute-looking, shiny weapon, which is actually a magical weapon. And magical weapons can kill air elementals. Well, after some strange squabbling within Wildguard, which we never understood, certainly Sylver and the air elemental were scratching their heads at this one, but they finally figured out that that weapon had a role to play. We also learned that the people of Wildguard took a while to figure out that the ball lightning itself was worthless. It is a ball, and in much like one of my entangle spell balls here, if I cast entangle at you, and I entangle you, and it lies on the ground, you can't pick that up and use it. It is useless to you. It is only useful in the hands of a druid. Likewise, any other spell a druid might create. So, Wildguard for a while chased the wrong thing, but that was fine. I think Wildguard was picking up on that. Pardon me? The other thing that happened was that somehow people chanced upon 2 pages of an Air Elementals journal, of the Air Elementals journal. Now, I love how cooperative WildGuard is, because I don't think all of WildGuard got the message of what was in the Air Elementals journal, and that's fine. WildGuard decided to fight amongst itself for a while, rather than actually group together and determine how to handle this situation. Talk about a lack of leadership and who they might have been missing here. In any case, 2 pages of Air Elementals journal were retrieved. Page 1, and I will read them for the benefit of this group. Page 1, it says, and I quote from the Air Elemental, "I believe I have happened upon a great discovery, a fierce weapon that shall forever change the face of the wild lands, which are being overrun by filthy humans and half-breed Kintu alike. I shall call it ball lightning, and it shall be like my lightning bolt spell, but capable of delivering mass death and destruction to multiple enemies in a single cast. I shall use it to wage my war to reclaim these lands from this invading horde." The 2nd page of the Air Elementals journal says, "I believe ball lightning can be created through an unholy union of 2 spells, lightning bolt and magic projectile. I am skilled enough in the lightning spell, but I do not possess the magic projectile spell. Alas, in order to create this master weapon, I have need of the services of one who possesses this spell. A druid, perhaps? Yes, a druid would suffice, and together we would craft this most evil of spells." These are official documents in WildGuard right now. You may have them. You don't know anything more. All you know is when we left the quest, a druid and an air elemental were in there. Now you notice something else. Every time, well, first of all, you notice that very little was killing the air elemental, until someone may have realized that that actually does kill an air elemental. But there was a catch to that. The air elemental, every time they killed the druid, the air elemental was able to revive the druid. And every time they killed the druid, or the air elemental, the druid was able to revive the air elemental. There's something strange going on here. They are basically undefeatable. Even though there's a weapon there that can kill them, they can revive each other. Now the people of WildGuard were contemplating what that means and how to overcome this strange happening here, which is certainly not common in the world of Apgard. I have no suggestions to offer this group. This group must find out what the key is. But let me leave you with one other thought. 2 pages of the Air Elementals journal have appeared. Could there be more? And if there are more, how did we get those? How did the people of WildGuard come into possession of those pages of the Air Elementals journal? WildGuard may want to think about this. So as of right now, you have a druid who is on the council who is acting very strange and being very defensive about creating a weapon to defend WildGuard, saying a few odd things on the way, and seems to be unafraid to kill people, as he claims the smaller sacrifice for the greater good. And we have people who have tried to reason with him. That hasn't worked very well, because he killed them. You have people who have tried to kill the air elemental and discovered that that's not as easy as it sounds, and even when they figured out how to do it, he was still being revived. This is where the quest picks up. I will suggest that the people of WildGuard are close, but WildGuard has a weakness, a major weakness, and boy did it ever get exposed in this quest. That weakness is in the absence of leadership. WildGuard tends to break down as a unit, and this was one of the points of this quest. This is a governmentless country, a leaderless, it's not a nation, it was a leaderless territory, and that lack of leadership is showing here. So we still have a rogue druid who used to be on the council, and we still have an air elemental way out there working on mastering this spell, and we still have WildGuard wondering what to do about this. And this is where we are. We're going to continue the quest from that point. We shall set it right away. Oh, and we had one other thing that happened. We had a group come up from the south, a group of humans come up from the southern kingdoms, and they came here to try and acquire this spell. They made it clear that they had only one purpose. They wanted this weapon for themselves. They did not want it destroyed. And they were prepared to fight WildGuard to get it, but they were also prepared to work with WildGuard to get it. Well, it looks like they didn't get it either. So as of right now, there is a druid and an air elemental still working on a very powerful weapon here, and there is a community of WildGuard, which is all of you, trying to figure out what to do about this. And we leave you with that. I shall retire in about 5 minutes. We'll finish setting up. We will reset where myself and the elemental will be out in our workshop out there, and WildGuard is going to determine what to do about this. But you